Sacrifice. This is a feature of all religions in one form or another. The Aztec religion was no different. Human sacrifice was not uniquely Aztec. The Olmec, Toltec, and Mayan civilizations practiced it before them. The reasons given for human sacrifice were to strengthen the war god Huitzilopochtli in his daily fight against his siblings, as atonement for the alligator monster Cipatli getting murdered at the hands of Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca during the creation of the first sun, as atonement for when Quetzalcoatl stole the bones from Mictlan to make the first human beings of the Fifth Age. The most common form of human sacrifice was when a slave or war captive was brought up the steps of Templo Mayor, for example, spread out along a sacrificial stone and had his or her heart removed with a flint or obsidian knife and held up into the sky while beating. The heart would be placed in a bowl and later burnt. The sacrificial body would then be dismembered and beheaded. The flesh would be consumed by the priests and nobles. Ritualistic cannibalism was seen to be a communion with the gods. Despite what you might think, being a sacrifice was actually seen positively, and sacrifices generally got a better outcome in the afterlife. Check out my Mictlantecutli video for more information on this. Another part of Aztec sacrifice was the Ixiptla, or god impersonator. Depending on the deity, a slave, woman, or warrior may be chosen to represent the god. He or she would be free from blemishes and in good physical shape. The god impersonator was ritually cleansed and dressed to look like the god they're impersonating. And for a period of time, for a year in the case of the Tezcatlipoca impersonator, he or she would be venerated as the physical embodiment of the god himself or herself. On the god's main day of worship, the impersonator would be sacrificed according to what the god is associated with. The goddess of ripe corn, for example, Xicomecoatl, her god impersonator was decapitated. This was to mimic the harvesting of ears of corn. Other forms of sacrifice involved repeatedly throwing a person into flames, then removing their heart. Gladiatorial battles where the sacrifice was tied to a stone with a feathered sword in hand and had to fight off 5 warriors with their standard weapons, or be tied to a sacrificial stone and have arrows and darts shot at you. Bloodletting was also part of the religion. People would prick their lips, earlobes, or foreskin. They would bleed into a ceremonial dish and soak a piece of paper in it. The blood-soaked papers would then be burned. Deer, eagles, and snakes would be given as sacrifices. They'd be burned. At times, blood would be poured over the statue of God so that they could partake in the blood in real time. Dolls made of corn, amaranth, and honey would be made to look and represent the gods and would be sacrificed through consumption. This would mimic how humans of the Fifth Age were created. Despite this being a pagan religion, there's some overlap with some of the more mainstream religions. With the god impersonators, there was an emphasis on purity. Jesus in Christianity was the ideal sacrifice for humanity, being that he was pure and that he was free from sin. The Last Supper and eating of the corn doll are similar in that both aim at the consumer, symbolically embodying the traits of whom they're consuming. What you believe in aside, I think that there are themes that humans respond to positively and that make their way into our religion, pagan or not. Thanks for watching.